Okay, so I got to ask you, what is the number one most asked question when people meet you?
What you talking about, Willis?
Classic. And what is your least favorite question when people meet you?
Oh my gosh, you're still alive and everyone else is dead.
From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show with Patrick Labyorteaux.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Todd Bridges.
Patrick Labyorteaux Show. He's the one you gotta know.
Okay, of course, you know him as Willis Drummond from Diff'rent Strokes, Roots, and Everybody Hates Chris. I've known him since 1977 when we worked together on a show called A Circle of Children, and we played endless games of cards. Please welcome Todd Bridges.
Hello, everybody. Hey, what's up, Patrick? How you doing, man?
Oh, man,
Doing
this
great,
is great.
man.
I'm so glad you're here. So just to set the table, let everybody know, we did a movie when we were kids in 77. Mm-hmm. And so we've known each other for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And
crazy,
of course,
right?
we were both on NBC at the same time. We'll talk about all the different credits, but you were on Little House. And of course, you did Diff'rent Strokes at NBC. I knew your family. I knew Jimmy. I knew Verda. I knew your mom, Betty. And so we kind of grew up in the business together.
Sure
and it's
did.
good to see you, man.
No, thank you. Appreciate that.
Act 1, Beginnings. You're living in San Francisco. Why are you an actor? What started, your mom was, but...
Yeah, the interesting part about it, my mom went to a school called ACT with Cleavon Little, Carl Weathers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and all these people. So, Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed and Rocky.
Yeah, well, in Cleavon Little, I got to work with in Blazing Saddles. He was, I loved him.
Yeah, he was great. And so I remember watching Sanford and Son, and I was like 4 years old. And I go, I want to do just like that. My mom said, you want to be an actor? I'm like, yes. She said, well, if you get in the business, you can't quit. You got to just do it. I'm like, okay, fine. And then my mom trained me, my sister, and my brother, and we all got in. And the first commercial we ever did, and it was a Jell-O brand gelatin commercial as a family.
Oh, and that's awesome.
Way before, Bill Cosby did it, way before that. And the second commercial we did was with Apollo Creed, with, Carl Weathers, which was United Airlines. Fly the friendly skies. He played our father. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, it's like, and by the way, I think we should just call him Apollo Creed because that's
everybody knows him by that. Yeah,
it's like he's so.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Oh, what a fight! So when you say you want to be an actor after watching Sanford and Son, is your mom like, boy, I'm an actor. Why don't you want to act because of me? You want to act because was it Red Fox or Lamont or what was it?
It was Red Fox, and I knew that I can have a career out of it. I just knew that I would, and I just felt it, and that's just where I needed to be. And
so, how did you get from San Francisco to Los Angeles? The whole family moves down?
My mom decided that we're going to move to L.A. from San Francisco, and she told my dad we're moving to L.A. And my dad was like, I don't want to go to L.A. My mom's like, we're moving, so you better come with us. And he came with us. We moved to L.A. But the thing I didn't know was how different it was from San Francisco.
What's the difference?
Completely different. Well, San Francisco was more like friendlier. Everybody got along. I've never heard the N-word in my life out there. Our best friends were white, black. They were every color. Yeah. And when you got to San Francisco, it was very segregated. It was totally different.
When you got to Los Angeles.
When I got to Los Angeles, it was very segregated. Not the same.
Where did you end up originally? I know that you finally ended up in like Woodland Hills, but where'd you end up when you first got here?
We first moved to. We lived in Culver City.
Okay.
And that's when we showed up. Okay, the story goes like this: we showed up. They talked to my mom on the phone. Found out she had perfect credit. We had the money. We had sold our house in San Francisco. She had the money for the down payment to the house. My dad had a great job. He was a longshoreman. My mom had a job as a bank manager, so they had money, and we, going to get we're gonna move to Culver City. It's gonna be great. We all go in there, and we're standing there, and the lady goes, "Oh, we don't have any houses here for sale."
Oh no! way.
Yes.
Oh my God!
That was my first thing of racism, and I still didn't quite understand what was going on. I was like, they sold the house. That was really weird, So my mom goes, they won't stop me from buying this house. So my mom went and got one of her friends that lived down there who was white, had her go in and sign the paperwork with her name on it. And we
Well, I
moved
mean,
there.
I mean, look, you're laughing, you're telling a
Yeah.
good story, but damn.
I know, right?
It's like, look, in my lifetime, I lived in Los Angeles my whole life. Obviously,
Mm.
you know, we're of liberal bent here in California and Los Angeles. To me, it never really kind of, I didn't see it because, of course, I'm white, and we didn't really care who our friends were.
Yeah.
But to have that happen at that time, because that's what, early 70s?
Yeah, like 73, 74. Yeah.
So what
And that
happened? What happens
So-
when this big black family moves into this little white neighborhood? Would they freak out?
So we they're a little bit freaked out, but here's the funnier part. We met this Spanish kid who lived there, or Mexican kid, and his name was, I forgot what his name was. David. His name was David. So we're walking with David going to football practice. This car drives by and calls us the N-word, and David goes, "Aren't you guys mad at that?" We go, "No. That means an ignorant person. That's not us. We know how to read and write." We kept walking. He's like, "No, man, it means this." And then we were mad. Here's the craziest is I didn't even know about slavery until Roots, till I was in Roots.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious. It wasn't.
What kind
taught
of
to me.
school were you going to?
A regular school. They didn't really teach it because it didn't make any sense. You know, everyone got along. There was no hate at school. You know, and when I moved to LA, you know, and I finally got in the movie Roots, that's when I learned all about it.
Okay, well
lie.
we're gonna get to Roots, but this is too interesting. So you're an actor, you're black, obviously. You're doing Roots. You say you learned about slavery. What part of it did you not understand that you learned from the show?
I didn't understand the cruelty of it.
Okay.
How cruel it was is what I didn't know. I knew slavery, but I thought it was not as cruel as it was.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I thought that everyone had a fair chance and a fair shake, no matter what. But that just wasn't the case. That's why we needed, you know, affirmative action in DEI to give us jobs. Because, you know, even if we had the most talented, it didn't matter. But I will tell you this, where I was blessed in. I was able to get jobs that were for white kids. I would go in on an acting job.
Because that's interesting, because when we were kids, they usually always specified black or white. Or actually, they never specified white. They always specified black.
Yep. If they specified, they never specified white, but they always specified black. But if I went into a commercial and they were thinking of hiring a white kid, usually my personality got the commercial. So they
that's
would
true.
just give it to him.
Obviously, you're still personality plus, but I remember on the commercials, it was all about getting a bunch of kids in a room and what kid popped. And in the 70s, it was kind of like, oh, let's get the redhead, let's get the black kid, let's get the Mexican, let's get the white kid.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. It's true. Okay, I did a bicentennial commercial in 1976 with the meanest man on the planet. Let me just tell you that. Before I'll tell you this, I'm not going to pull any punches on him because he's passed away anyway, so it's fine. Henry Fonda. Everything Jane Fonda said about Henry Fonda what they said about their father is true. I was like a little kid. I think I was like maybe 6 or 7, and we were doing the bicentennial commercial, and we're walking, you know, and one kid was supposed to carry the flag, one kid carries the drum, and one kid's blowing the horn, right? And I was gonna do the drum, and they go, no drum. They go, no, let Todd carry the flag. We don't want anything with the commercial. Then I'm fine. So we're carrying the flag. I'm carrying the flag. We're walking down this steep hill, and it had a bunch of cow patties, and we're falling in these holes and stuff, these gopher holes. And he turns around and goes, "You mother effer kids! I'm not going to be here all day." Blah, blah, blah. We all go, "Ah!" We all start crying. We all start crying, man. We're like, "Ah!" And then our mothers run over there. You know my mother. Run over there like, "You're mean," blah, blah, blah. And then all the mothers go, "We're taking these kids home. I don't care what you do. I'm not going to leave them here with you mean people." So we were going to go home, and all of a sudden the director goes, "Oh my gosh, we can't. We got to finish this commercial. We spent already too much money." And they're like, well, how's it going to be? She's like, "Well, listen, if he apologizes, then we'll stay." He comes over to us and goes, sorry, and walks off. We're like, he's mean. Such a mean guy, man. And that was the only mean adult I ever worked with then after that. Everyone else was great.
Yeah, I found that to be true too. For the most part, people are, you know, they can be selfish, or they can be into themselves, or they can be unaware, but not too many actual really horrible people until we get to one person later, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, definitely.
But okay, so kind of off track here as far as I go, but you're coming down to LA, and yeah, you kind of don't waste any time. You get a lot of good work. You're in a ton of commercials. You end up on Barney Miller. You do Circle of Children with Me. Then you do Little House and Roots.
Oh yeah.
So let's break this down a little bit, because Barney Miller is going to be really important to you later. Barney Miller, for anyone that doesn't know, was a fantastic show. It was about a cop precinct with Hal Linden.
Hal Linden,
Yeah, and Abe Vigoda and all these great guys. How did
people don't remember Abe Vigoda was in he was in The Godfather.
Oh yeah, no, he was absolutely. No, and for years I remember, I think not anymore, he's passed away now. But for years he would take out ads in Variety saying, "Hey, I'm still alive."
Yes, because people always thought he was dying, poor guy.
Right. Okay, so when you're doing Barney Miller, just to spoiler alert, you end up on a TV show called Fish with Abe Vigoda, which is a spinoff of Barney Miller. But when you're doing Barney Miller, none of that's talked about. That's not an idea yet, right?
No, it is an idea. What happened was,
so tell me.
When I finished the show, Danny Arnold, the producer, came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to have a show with you in it. I don't know exactly what yet, but we're thinking about spinning a show off from here, but you're going to be the lead kid." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, okay, cool. I thought he was blowing smoke up my butt. Nope. Right. A couple of months later, we get a call, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to do a show called Fish. We want you to play Loomis." Yeah. And so it was based around me. If you ever watched the show, it was always based around me and Abe Vigoda. I was always at Abe Vigoda, like, "You're a mean old white man," as I say Abe Vigoda all the time, and run and lock myself in the closet. He'd be like, "Loomis!" He was always. So it was based off us, and then they added everyone else around us. And the interesting part about that show was we got canceled, and we were a top 10 show. Abe Vigoda wanted more money. And back then, you know how they were. Producers owned everything. They're like, "No, we're not giving you no more money." And they canceled the show. But for me, it worked out, because the show gets canceled. I get a call from Barbara Bugliotti at NBC, and she's like, "Hey, I got a show that I think you should be on, because we need someone to surround this young kid who's just starting out. And we need somebody who knows what they're doing in front of a live audience." And
you guys had done like 40 episodes of Fish already. Yeah.
And they had been auditioning, but they couldn't find the kid. So they were like, "We just want to bring you in, and you can just do it. And it was up to you." So the interesting part about it, I listened to how crazy this is. I had auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club also.
Okay.
The Mickey Mouse Club. I got the Mickey Mouse Club. I auditioned for, it was called Mork from Ork. It wasn't called Mork and Mindy. It was called Mork from Ork.
I remember that, because
from Ork. I got that part. And then I got Diff'rent Strokes, so I had to make a decision of which one I wanted to do.
Why did you choose Diff'rent Strokes?
Because I wanted to be an older brother, which turned out to be the best decision, because they changed Mork and Mindy's, the character on Mork and Mindy. They made it Mork and Mindy, not Mork and Ork. And then we saw what were the
Jeffrey was like on Jeffrey DK was the guy that
they put Jeffrey
Mork,
there,
and he's a guy that also we hung out with.
Yeah, and Jeffrey's the one that ended up on the show.
He was in the pilot and like the first couple episodes.
Yeah,
and then boof, he disappears.
Yeah.
They Chuck Cunningham'd him.
I am glad I chose Diff'rent Strokes, man. So.
Okay, but when you're doing Fish, because Denise Miller is also a friend of ours at the time.
Yeah, I love
who's
Denise.
Amazing on Fish. And I forget the guy's name. He was the Italian kid. He was in Bugsy
Johnny
Malone.
Cassisi.
Yeah.
Johnny Cassisi.
What a great actor, great character. I don't know what happened to him after that, but it was a really good show.
We'll talk later. I can tell you later what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was all about, again, with the money for Abe Vigoda. Is that what happened?
That's what happened. It was a top 10 show. And
so around this time, you're doing. Did you do Circle of Children? Before this?
Before Diff'rent Strokes. The Circle of Children was before Diff'rent Strokes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that just briefly, because that's where we met. It was this TV movie that was based on a book that was about this special needs school.
Yeah.
And Jane Alexander comes in to be a teacher, and they had all these kids. And the main kid was my brother Matt Labyorteaux. He played like this kid who spoke really fast and had on the spectrum. Kyle Richards was also there.
Yep.
Myself, you, and that's kind of where we met and hung out. and got to be friends. In the movie, we sang a number of songs, and we would sing these songs over and over again.
Was it
and
Digga-Digga-Doo, Digga-Doo-Doo, or something like that?
Digga-Digga-Doo,
Yes,
Digga-Digga-Doo.
see? Dude, I remember, dude, I'm telling you.
Digga-digga-doo, digga-doo-doo. Digga-digga-doo, digga-doo. Very nice. Digga-digga-doo, digga-digga-dig-doo. Digga-digga-doo, digga-dig-dig-doo. Digga-digga-doo, digga-doo-doo.
And we'd walk, I remember a circle of children, we'd
Yes,
walk around.
yes.
And it was just, and so kind of Todd and I kind of fell under the radar. Plus, we got to talk about your mom just for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Betty Bridges
Her
is a
birthday's
force
coming up, too.
of nature. You know, she just recently passed away, but she was this wonderful, and I told this to you when I was talking to you and your wife. I loved her, and I was afraid of her.
Yeah, my mom was serious.
She was a serious woman who could make you, could take care of you, could show you love,
Yep.
and like there was no question when she said jump, you didn't even ask.
Oh,
how
yeah.
high. You just
Exactly.
did.
Yep.
But she was on, you know, she was there, and sometimes Verda was there, sometimes James was there. But when your mom was there, you know, we were all, no matter whose kids they were, we were all kind of under control. And I just wanted to shout out because she's a great lady.
Thank you, man.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you know, it was
Her
just
birthday's coming up. August 1st is her birthday, so we're going to
well,
celebrate.
oh wow, happy birthday! So it's very tomorrow. Happy
definitely.
birthday. So we're doing this movie. We just are stupid little kids playing around. My brother had all the work, so we didn't have anything to do but play. And then after that, we just kind of hung out. And then you ended up on Little House in like this famous episode.
Oh, yeah.
And let's talk
The
about
wisdom
that
of,
for a
the
minute.
wisdom of Solomon. Yeah.
Right, you have this famous line.
Would you rather be black and live to be 100? Or white and live to be 50?
So what was your experience on Little House and then with the resurgence of that?
My experience in Little House was wonderful. It was great. Michael Landon was wonderful. Melissa Gilbert, which is one of our friends, she was wonderful. Everyone treated me great. You know, everyone was good with me. But what happened with me on Little House is it messed up my English. Okay, I spoke perfect English, but I had to learn to speak like I didn't really know English well.
Right.
So my mom had to teach me that, and it ruined my English. You know?
you went full method.
Yes, I went full method. I was like, man, I was saying things like y'alls and ain'ts and suds, and I'm like, what's wrong with me, you know? But I had such a great time because I had a lot of dialogue on that show, a lot of dialogue, and I remember a lot of it. I had to cry a lot on that show too.
It's Little House. Everyone cries.
And the one I remember is ain't in the river, but you can't kill me. I've been told by the man from Italy. More, I've never been up, I've never been down. My soul is heaven bound. That's what I can remember from one of the things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great memory.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I watch the episodes. I'm sure it's the same for you with Diff'rent Strokes, but when I watch episodes, sometimes I catch them on TV. I don't know if I know what happens next because I remember.
Oh, no, I
shooting
do.
it. Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. I remember immediately what happens, dude. I know the whole episode. I was able,
That's amazing.
for me, like I have a flash memory too.
Okay.
Like when I learn dialogue, it takes me about an hour and a half to learn dialogue. I know it for that day. But if you ask me the next day, I'm like, nah. I would have to see it again. If I see the show again, then I'll remember it again. But otherwise, I'm like, I don't know what that said. What we did yesterday. That was yesterday. Right. I'm in it today. You know, so I always like when I watch different shows. That's why the Circle of Children. That's why I remember the song because I remember it.
Right.
It.
Well, and we had to sing it over and over again.
We did.
So,
constantly.
okay, well, you're this young actor, and all of us, it was a smaller business. You know, there was New York kids and there was LA kids, and I guess
you were hired on you were hired on talent too.
Right, but even if it absolutely hired on talent because there wasn't a lot of us, so there was a group of kids that we always ran together. Even though we weren't auditioning for the same parts in commercials and stuff, we were always in the same rooms.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine there's even like a smaller group for black guys because there's just not as many as there are white guys.
At the time, with me, it was me and Kim Fields doing everything.
That's right.
That's all.
Yeah, Kim was
just
you
me,
guys
and
did,
Kim was like 4 or 5 years younger.
Right.
We did a lot of stuff together. So Kim Fields ended up being in Facts of Life, but before that she did a show called Baby I'm Back. Me and Kim Fields
that's another strong mom was Chip Fields, man.
We worked, she was too. We worked a lot together in a lot of stuff because if they needed usually a older boy, black kid, and a younger girl, it was always Kim Fields and me doing stuff. So we did that a lot. And we weren't, and back then, the craziest part about it, we didn't get invited to a lot of white parties. We got invited mainly to black parties. Yeah, it was different
so
back then.
Weird.
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy.
And I say it's so weird, not because I'm surprised of racism,
Yeah.
but because there was always some sort of thing of like, well, it's not like you're white or black. It's like you're in the business. It's like just the business. But even then, you're saying there's still that separation.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We were separated. It was like I went to, how I got to meet a lot of people, though, was from Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
Because in the early 70s also, I traveled. I don't know if you noticed or not, when I was like 14, 15, I traveled with Scott Bell, Lou Ferrigno, sometimes Donnie Most. We did a show called the Hollywood Teen Tour, all around the amusement parks in the United States. We would sing and dance on stage.
Where is that sitcom?
Well, that would have been a crazy sitcom. Trust me, it would have been.
Wait, hold on a second. Did you say Lou Ferrigno?
Yes, he'd go too. Lou Ferrigno should just go on stage and flex his muscles.
I was going to say, poor guy's deaf. I don't know how good a singer he is. But
no, he wouldn't sing, but he'd flex his muscles and that kind of stuff. But me and Scott Bell would sing.
That's amazing. So how long
we traveled
did you do that?
We did that for 3 years.
Was that
we traveled
during when he was on
on
Happy
the
Days
weekends.
and you were on?
We would
Strokes?
leave like on Friday night on a red eye, get to a city, perform on Saturday, come home by Sunday.
That's exhausting.
It was exhausting, yeah, but it was like, and that's where I ran into a lot of craziness because different states. Oh man, I remember one time we were in Alabama and Scott Bell was in my room. Yeah, check this out. Scott Bell's in my room. We're playing games. Some kind of games because me and Scott used to do. I'll tell you the stuff we used to do. Crazy stuff, the things, and the airports. So we were sitting there and we're playing cards and the phone rings and Scott gets him an answer. He goes, "Hello," and then I see his face change, like literally go like a ghost, and he hangs up and goes, "I gotta go," and he leaves. And I'm like, "What's going on?" So he didn't tell me until like maybe 10 years ago. He told me that he picked the phone up and he go, "This is the Grand Master from the Ku Klux Klan. You tell that if he shows up, we're gonna kill him." So Scott had ran outside, went and told his dad, but went and told his people at the place, and they ended up having so much security around, and I didn't know why the security was all there.
Oh,
and
that was the other guy. Scott didn't have moms on the set, but he had Mario, his dad.
Yeah,
Mario was the tough guy.
Yeah. So it was crazy.
That's
all the places.
This is interesting because I have a question here later when you're doing Diff'rent Strokes, but again, we're kind of all over the place, which is fine. Yeah. When you're famous on Diff'rent Strokes, and obviously you're still black, black, you're famous and you're black. And you mentioned Sammy. Yeah. Is there, what kind of pressure or not pressure or camaraderie is there when you're a black celebrity with the black community? Like, because you're representing them now, right? Is that kind of like
that's kind of like what they try to say that we're representing them, but the thing about it, we're really representing ourselves as individuals and people. But the thing about it was, what I loved about it was I always did everything as much as I could for our community. I did as much as I could. I went to all the schools and stuff and talked to the people and all that. And
but I would imagine that as a young black kid looking at Diff'rent Strokes or looking at Todd Bridges, that's kind of what I want to understand is like, because again, white guy, people come up to me and say, "Oh, I love Little House. It means so much to me because my grandmother watches it." But I would imagine that what young black kids are telling you might be different. Like, I can't believe there's a black guy on TV, or how was that?
Yeah, because it was very few of us on TV at that time.
Yeah,
especially in the 70s. I think in the 70s in the beginning it was just me and
it was
Gary.
You and Kim and Gary. Yeah, that was it.
And Gary. Kim wasn't there until a year later. Yeah, it was just the beginning, the first year, 77. It was really just me and Kim. I don't think there was anything else. But here's the interesting part too. You couldn't switch over also. I don't know. I'm sure you remember that. There was no such thing as doing TV and movies at the same time.
No.
That was broken later. Later by Michael J. Fox, that was broken by.
Yeah.
That was broken later. So it was like you did movies, and then I don't know if there was any kids on stuff. I think there were any kids that were black kids that were in movies. I don't know if there was. I don't remember any that I would know of.
Well, it was so weird. Back in the 70s, it was like you didn't have black people. Black people were in the movies every now and again, but it wasn't like, but there were black movies, Car Wash, or if Richard Pryor's doing something.
But like we did have Sidney Poitier doing stuff. We did have him.
Right.
Yeah, he was in movies with white people. Yeah, him
Well,
and
and Cleavon,
also,
like you said, Cleavon Little, he
Lena
was in,
Horne,
right?
Cleavon Little, Lena Horne, those kind of people were.
And then all the
I knew-
blaxploitation movies like
yeah,
Coffee and Pam
Oh
Grier
my god,
movies,
and those
all
are
that
great
stuff.
movies. Those are great.
They're
movies.
really good, yeah.
You know, I'll tell you something interesting too. The Chinese kung fu movies
Uh-huh.
all made it big, starting in the black markets first. That's what they would
Right.
do. Release them in the
Well,
black
even all the way,
communities first.
like all the way to the Wu-Tang, right? Where
Yeah,
everybody,
that's right,
it's all
that's
kind
right.
of combined. I found
Yeah.
this movie when I was a kid, probably when we were hanging out, called Three the Hard Way with Richard
Oh, yeah.
Roundtree.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Oh,
I
yeah.
was fascinated by. I thought, these
yeah.
guys are the baddest guys I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were
so,
good.
It's so
yeah.
cool. We'll be back after these messages. Have you ever thought about becoming an actor and making your friends and family jealous? Well, have I got a deal for you. Here at Working Actors School, we offer many different classes so you can become a famous actor like me. And we have a delightful selection of classes, including Adult Weekly. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Here you will learn how to be an actor with other adults. How do we do it? How is it possible? Is it a miracle? Yes, it is. A miracle called Zoom. We teach everything online so you can become a famous actor and impress your friends and family. So if you want to be a famous actor and make your friends and family jealous, then you need to sign up at Working Actors School. You can get a hold of us at workingactorschool.com. You can sign up for classes at workingactorschool.com. You can make a reservation for the class online at workingactorschool.com. So come check us out. It's workingactorschool.com. Act 2. Success. Okay, so again, all over the place, but I got to go back to roots. So for those, I mean, people who watch this are kind of our age, so they get it. But for anyone that doesn't, back in the days of the miniseries, like everyone in the nation watched this show.
This was the biggest miniseries of ever. I think it was like 77 million views.
And
That's
it
a
had
lot.
every
Every
who
black
was
person.
every
Wait,
black person
yes,
who was acting was in this movie.
Yes, wait, let me tell you
What was that
something funny.
experience like when you
I
were
gotta
in
tell you,
Roots?
the funniest story in Roots is they ran out of black kids. It was like, and the other kids that went on for the day, because I was a lead, I was still there, and they're like, we need a black kid in the background. They're like, okay, Todd, we'll give you some extra money. Put a hat on your head, dig down, just like you're digging, and we won't know who you are, and we'll be an extra kid. I was like, all right, so I ran out there, and I'm like, they couldn't see my face. They didn't know, so I got extra money, though.
That's hysterical. Why would they grade? It was James was James or Verda in it as well? Or no,
no, it was just me.
Just
but,
you,
'cause
okay.
At the time, then I was in there with George Sanford Brown, Lynn Moody, Lloyd Bridges,
Chicken George's grandson.
Ben Vereen. Yeah, I was Chicken
Right.
George's grandson. Ben Vereen, Lloyd Bridges. Let me tell you what happened with Lloyd Bridges. This is the greatest story. I love Lloyd.
Okay.
Lloyd's
Yeah.
wonderful, man. So I was selling candy for my school. And Lloyd, we started talking to Lloyd. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I can make sure you win this contest." I go, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Hold on a second." He goes, "Everyone, stop shooting. Get over here right now. Line up and buy my grandson's candy right now, right now." And everyone had to buy it. They bought it all right. I didn't win any prize that year, but then what happened was it got spread all around rumors that he was my grandfather. So I would I'll be doing a talk show, and they're like, "So Lloyd Bridges is your grandfather?" I'm like, "No, I believe my grandfather's black. I saw him last week." But he did. But I think they had one of his kids adopted a kid named Ty Bridges. So that's how it got mixed up a lot too. Yeah.
So when you're in Roots and it becomes the thing that it became, which is it's everywhere, and
Yeah.
like you say, you didn't know about slavery until you did it. A lot of people didn't understand it, just like you did.
Yeah.
Because until they watched Roots. What was that like walking around? This is even before Diff'rent Strokes or anything else. You were like a celebrity, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, walking around, man, it was like, because it's the biggest miniseries of all time, and people, they are looking at you differently. And I don't think a lot of people knew what slavery was really about. Like I didn't either, because it wasn't something that was just widely spread, that it was so brutal and so harsh. I don't think people realize that. And
well, I think for us, I mean, on the white side of things, it was sort of like we knew it was bad, but we didn't ever know. We had no connection to people, and when you watched Roots, you got to know the characters, you got to know the people.
Yes.
And then when bad things happen to the people that you care about, you're like, but that's not fair. That's not
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was so cool working on that set, because the set was fun. We shot at Disney Ranch.
When you're doing this, how long were you working on that show?
I think I worked for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, I think, something like that. It was
that's
a while.
a big deal.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were all, everybody knew each other, and everybody was friends, man. And like I said, and Lloyd took me under his wing. He took care of me. You know, he made sure things were right. You know,
That's
you know, a lot of these adults made sure the kids were always okay.
Right.
They'd bring us stuff all the time, you know. And I'll tell you what was interesting was one time from NBC we got motorcycle helmets from, like, I think it was Alan Horn. Bought us we were like 12 and 13. Bought me and Kim Fields a motorcycle helmet. We're like, what the, do you think we hit our head a lot or something? We're like, and so Red Fox is coming down. He's like, hey, what's up, kids? And we're like, hey, Red. We knew Red well too. And you know, he was my idol, and I got to not only meet him, work with him, meet him. Come on, you can't beat that.
Okay, well, let's slow down just a bit. I want to hear this. This is, I mean, that's a big moment. So you want to be an actor because of Red Fox.
Because of Red Fox.
And then what were you working with him on?
And then, well, because we ended up doing one of those NBC things, and Red was there because his show was we ended up a big party for Tandem, and Red Fox.
Okay, so that's the production company.
Production company that
produced
owned all the
your
shows. Yeah. And Red wanted to meet me, so I got a chance to go over there and sit down and talk with him. And he played Santa Claus one year in our studio. He came in and he was Santa Claus on some show, some little thing for NBC. I think it was NBC we did. He played Santa Claus, and we got to sit on his lap, you know, and talk to him what we wanted. And so we're holding these motorcycle helmets, and Red comes in and goes, "What's that?" You know, and we're like, "Motorcycle helmet." He goes, "You got a motorcycle?" We're like, "No." "You got a bike you gonna ride it with?" We're like, "No." He's like, "Who gave you that?" We said, "NBC." He says, "Them big old dummies." That's what he said. He said, "All right, I'll be back." He came back the next day and bought me and Kim Fields 3-wheelers.
Oh my God!
Motorcycle 3-wheelers. Said, now you can do something. Now you can use the helmet for this. We're like, thanks you. Yeah, we're riding around. Oh my gosh, me and Kim loved it, man. I had that thing up until I was like 30, I think.
So you're obviously, you have a connection with all these people that you've worked with. You've worked with everyone from Lloyd Bridges to Red Fox to
everybody wanted
Sammy.
to meet us.
How did you meet Sammy?
We met Sammy when we were doing the Hollywood Teen Tour with Scott Bale. And we happened to be staying at the same hotel as Sammy was staying at. And Sammy goes, "I want Todd Bridges to come to my room." So, of course, Scott Bale and everybody said, we got to go too, man. You can't go by yourself.
Yeah.
We got to go with you. So they all went down there and we met Sammy. And I got to know Sammy very well, got his home phone number. And we went to Sammy always called us and invited us to all of his parties. I got to meet, I met Frank Sinatra. I met Dean Martin. I met all these people, Jerry Lewis, everybody from him. They'd be at his parties. I met everyone.
Wow. What were those? I mean, just give us a little bit of like, was it like a regular party? Was it like the Ocean's 11? Was it cool?
It felt like, oh no, it was cool parties. Trust me. It was cool parties at Sammy's big giant mansion. And they would all be there, man, you know, and they'd be talking. And that's when I realized that these big stars are actors. And what I mean by that is, they don't need a trailer. They don't need anything. They're actors. They like to act. That's when it made me even more hyped up about acting because they really just enjoyed it. Like we'd be sitting there and we're telling stories about set things and everyone's cracking up and laughing, you know, and it was the greatest thing ever. And I became friends also with Burt Reynolds, and Burt loved me. Burt would always come give me a kiss on the cheek, and Dom DeLuise. And I'll tell you the funniest thing, I did a Hollywood Squares once and I knew Burt. Burt comes in and I hug Burt. And then Dom DeLuise comes in and I hug Don. And Don DeLuise, some old guy walks in, he goes, "Hey, you're still alive. Wonderful." I'm like, he was saying to every old guy that walked in, "You're still alive. That's wonderful." It was hilarious. But I got to meet all these people from Sammy Davis Jr.
Let's get to the big Diff'rent Strokes thing. So you're on Barney Miller, and they cast Gary. Gary was like on a guest star or something, right?
No, he was on a commercial first. I think he did a commercial in Chicago. The first thing he ever did. And that's how they saw him. And then he became a guest on Good Times, I believe it was. Good Times.
Right.
And then from Good Times, they found the show for him, Diff'rent Strokes. And the original show was actually made for Gary and Conrad first. But then Conrad goes, "No, he needs an older brother. We can't just do this show like this. He has to have an older brother. I need two kids." So Barbara Logiati goes, "Hey, I know the kid we can get. He's super talented. He's been on tons of shows. Yeah. He's already done a sitcom, and his show just happened to got canceled 3 weeks ago." She goes, 3 weeks ago. So he's available.
When did they add Kimberly?
Kimberly got added. I picked Dana Plato. Okay, I got brought in to pick the sister.
How'd that go? What happened there?
Okay, so I got brought in. I'm meeting all these different girls. I'm like, nah. And then I come in and I read with Dana. I went, that's our sister. And she was great. You know what I mean? She was really good. And I was like, yeah, that's our sister. And they hired Dana because of that.
Okay, so what I like to talk about is to let people know that when Dana had the sweetest heart, she was such a good person. And, life sometimes takes a turn.
Here's what I always tell people.
Please,
this
tell me
is
about
how
Dana.
I tell people this. Before I tell you about Dana, but this is what I always say. I say for every child star that's gone array, I'll name you 15 that haven't. That's what I always say.
Yep.
So don't try to act like it's all child stars, and it's not. It's only a few people that have had issues in this business. I said, but those are because we're people. We're human beings.
Yeah.
But Dana was the sweetest person you ever wanted to meet.
Honestly,
I had so much fun with Dana, and I usually, craziness, I slept with all her girlfriends because she'd always hook me up with her girlfriends. She'd be like, Todd, come over. My friend wants to hook up with you. I'm like, all right, I drive over. Because she would live down the street. I'd drive over, get over there. Hey! Dana was great like that. She set me up with everybody. I think that most girls in the valley that were her friends. Even and a few of her cousins. It was great. But she was the sweetest person.
But you never hooked up with Dana?
Well, come on. Of course I did. Dana, man. I was like...
Let's get back to the show, though, here, just for a second. Because I got to, look, I had a brother on TV, played Albert.
Yeah.
Matt, Matt, of course.
Of course.
And, big famous star off of Little House.
Yeah.
And absolutely a bigger star than I was on Little House. And I'm just going to go there and say, obviously, Gary is this huge event type of performer, but you're the professional that's been in town. What was your relationship with that type of thing of like there's Gary and Todd instead of like it being...
Well, me and Gary, the show, the interesting part about it was the first 3 years, me and Gary were close, tight like brothers, just like brothers. And then when his father came, everything changed on the show. It just became a totally different... It wasn't a fun set to be on anymore.
His real dad, his father in real life, yeah.
Well, no, his adopted father. So Gary was adopted.
Oh, right, but I'm saying like not his TV father. Like
no,
there wasn't a storyline. It was like
Cameron Bain was great. Yeah, his real father. And so the interesting part about it was Gary's father tried to have me fired at one time because because at 13 years old Gary slapped me and I slapped him back, and and they were like, oh, we gotta fire him. He slapped the star, blah blah blah. And they were like, Willie, we can't fire Willis. Okay, they were like, the show's about Willis and Arnold. We can't fire Willis. It'd be dumb. We don't want to make the show go under fast because I knew for me I was okay because Gary was the star. I was okay with that, but I got all the girls, so I didn't care. You know what I mean? I got all the girls came there. It was like the audience was predominantly young girls. Right. And when I would come out, they would lose it. So I didn't, so I was like, yeah, you can be the star, but I'm getting... So
you guys had this really good relationship.
We had a great relationship. But
people, I don't know if people know this a lot, and I don't know how much it impacted. Go ahead.
Willie Coleman separated us for like a few years. When the show ended, I didn't talk to Gary because, I was having my own issues. And then as he started having issues, Dion Maya got us back together and we became close again, very close again. Because now Gary didn't want anything to do with his parents because he knew what they were doing to him. And so we became very, very close. Our first engagement together, we were at Tennessee doing an autograph signing. Now, to get me and Gary together is the greatest thing. But let me go back before that and tell you the funniest story. Yeah. So I was flying to New York to do some show, right? And I get on the plane and somebody goes, your brother's here. And I go, no, I just left my brother at home. What are you talking about? They go, oh, you'll see. And I'm like, well, who are they talking about? I go on the plane, and guess who's in the seat right next to me? Gary Coleman. And I'm like, come on, man. And he starts laughing. I start laughing like, man, this is nuts. I'm like, how'd you end up next to me? So somebody, and the thing was like, oh, my God, Todd Bridges, Gary Coleman. I'm going to put them next to each other. We had no idea we're both going to New York. So... Anyway, so we I'm in Tennessee and I'm with Gary and I started pushing. We couldn't walk very well, so I started pushing him in a wheelchair. And he's like, "Why are you pushing me after the things I've said about you?" I said, "Gary, you're still my brother, man. It doesn't matter. We're okay. I'm okay. I'm good, man." I said, I got my life together. I've been sober for a while." I said, "Everything's fine." And he goes, "Man, okay." And then we became really close again. And and once we became really close, we were just like brothers again. Because basically, we all did everything on that set. The thing that made it so much fun on Diff'rent Strokes is all the kids from all the shows were on that lot.
Let's explain that for a little bit. At
yeah.
Universal, I spoke with Glenn Scarpelli about this.
Yep.
There's like
Glenn
a whole
Scarpelli.
group
Yep.
of people that, which brings us to the other story, a whole group of people that shot there. So you were shooting Diff'rent Strokes. They were shooting Facts of Life, one day at a time. And then Silver Spoons, It's Your Move.
Give Me a Break. Yep.
Give Me a Break.
Who's the
Laura
Boss?
Joe Miller.
Yep.
Who's the Boss with Alicia.
Yep.
So you've got this group of people. Plus you had, I went to school with Janet. Janet's
the oldest,
on your show.
Yeah, I was the oldest boy. I was the oldest boy. Yeah, so.
But you guys had kids on your show, and
I got Janet on our show. I'm the one that did that.
So
I used to watch her.
Tell that story.
So when I was,
let me think for just a second.
Yeah.
Why would Todd Bridges want Janet Jackson on the show?
Well, I'll tell you the funniest part about it was I was walking. She was doing Good Times at the time, and I was like, that girl is gorgeous. I was like, I gotta get her phone number. And
about
she
the
was really
sweetest thing in the world,
sweetest thing. She was really shy, and I got her phone number, and we used to talk all the time. And then they were like, okay, we gotta find Willis a girlfriend. I went, I got you, girl. And they're like, I'm like, Janet Jackson. They're like, really? I'm like, yes, hire her. I want her, or I'll quit. And so they hired her, and she became my girlfriend on the show.
How was your relationship with her through that? I mean, it was like
we dated for a little while. It was fun. Janet was great. Janet's the greatest person ever. We had such a good time.
I remember seeing because we went to school together. We went to that professional school, and again, like you're saying, she was quiet. She was soft spoken, and had so many different things that she had to deal with. Obviously, her dad, the Jacksons, and then Michael exploded at that time.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then she had to create her own self thing out of and it's not like it's not a foregone conclusion that just because you're Michael's sister, you're going to end up being Janet Jackson.
No,
because there's other brothers and sisters that didn't, right?
Yep.
And so when you're working with someone like that, were you aware of all the different things that she was having to deal with?
I knew, because I when I started going out with her, I had to go to meet all her, her brothers and stuff, and that wasn't for a 16-year-old boy. That is not fun. You know what I mean? You got to meet the brothers, and they're all like giving you the eye, and you're like, I'll tell you,
I loved your album. Why you hate me?
Yeah. So I remember my first time I went and met Michael from Janet, and it was crazy. I went to the Havenhurst house that was being rebuilt because they were staying in condos down the street. The Havenhurst was being rebuilt, and I remember being I'm back there. We're looking at some stuff. I'm looking at some stuff. And then Michael comes driving in and his power slides around the car and he jumps out and starts singing, "'Cause this is Thriller," inside the pipes. And I'm like, what is he doing? He's like, oh, he's singing his new album. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got to be Michael, went driving with Michael, and I'm going to tell you something. Driving with Michael was scary. I was like, the whole time in the car, like, please don't kill me. I was so afraid driving with Michael, man, because he drove wild,
so give me, this is about you, but I got to ask. Michael Jackson, biggest star in the world at this time. He just come out with Off the Wall. Thriller hadn't come out yet. But I keep hearing all these things that Michael had this one persona, but in real life, he was not that he was a little bit different. What was your experience? Is that part of it is true, or?
Well, Michael's, when he was on stage, he's different. But in real life, he's just a normal person. And, same conversations. He has his likes, his dislikes, But he was probably the most talented person I ever met in my life. Him and Prince, those two were amazing.
You got to meet Prince?
Oh yeah, I went to Prince. I got invited to Prince's concerts and stuff, man. Prince.
Oh man. Okay, so
I'll tell you about that one too.
Tell me about Tell me about Prince. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I was a big Prince fan.
Oh yeah,
like Back to Controversy and all those. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the funniest, so I got to know Michael really well, and I got invited to like his concerts at the Forum. That's when the Forum was like doing concerts.
Right, the Fabulous Forum.
Yeah, Fabulous Forum, and so we used to go to that. I went to like 3 or 4 of his concerts, and I didn't want to go to one of them. And my sister got mad at me because I didn't want to go to the 5th one. She's like, "You should have went. I wanted to go see Michael again." I'm like, whatever, it's crazy. So, so I was always around Janet. So always with either at the house, around her and her mother, or her and her, like that. And then her sister, LaToya, You know, when I'd go there to pick Janet up, and Latoya would be, there. Hey, Todd, come in. I'd go get Janet, go out with Janet. Well, I'll tell you something else crazy, though. I also hung out with Jerry Buss for like a few years, too. The owner of the Lakers. These are things that
I'm
you
trying to
know.
step around all these names that you're dropping. Let's get to
Jerry Buss.
Tell me,
Okay, Prince. Prince. Okay,
Gotta hear Prince.
I met Prince from all the nightclubs we used to go to. We used to go to a lot of nightclubs, and Prince was in a nightclub, and we talked.
Didn't he hang out at Carlos and Charlie's all the time?
Yes, we all did. All of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos Charlie's, and he's like, "You got to come to one of my concerts." I'm like, okay. So he's like, "I'm gonna have one in Chicago. I'll fly you out. You can come to the concert." I'm like, cool. So I go to Chicago. It's concert in Chicago, and I walk in. Security brings me in, and I'm waiting, and I'm talking to Morris Day, right? I'm talking to Morris Day. I'm like, yeah, we were talking about the old days, because I'll tell you something interesting. I went on a date one time to pick this girl up in this house, it was like in Hollywood Hills, and I'm sitting on the couch, and next to me, it was 6 girls that lived in this house. Next to me is Morris Day, Magic Johnson, Prince, and so it was all there for different girls, and we're like, this is nuts, So that's how I really met a lot of people too. So we are at I'm talking to Morris Day at the concert. We're just laughing and stuff, and all of a sudden the elevator comes up, and Prince, it opens up, and Prince's bodyguard's in there,
Chick.
and Prince,
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, the big guy with the beard, long beard, yeah.
Yep.
So the doors open up, and he's like, he looks at Morris Day, and he goes, "F you, Morris. Todd, come on, man." I was like, all right. So I left with Prince. I'm like, all right. I don't know what's going on, bro, but I ain't involved. So
what is? I mean, you're hanging out with Prince. What do you talk about?
Prince was okay. What used to drive us nuts about Prince was, and it's true, he was really good in basketball. You did not want to play Prince in basketball.
I heard that. Is that for real?
He would play. Yes, he played his high heels and beat you. Trust me, couldn't beat him. Dude was good, man. He wasn't making that sound, but I'm just saying he'd be like, ooh,
right.
You'd be like, man, can stop Prince. He was just like, whenever he would get on the piano, all the girls, we had to get the leftover girls because he get all the girls running to him. We start, whatever.
Right.
Oh, dude, you really got to start singing now. So a lot of the parties that I went to was because also Jerry Buss is how I met a lot of people. He owned the Lakers, and that's how I met a lot of people also.
Yeah, in fact, they owned them up until like a week or a month ago, where the family just sold it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of tie some of these things together. So you're hanging out with Prince, you're dating Janet, you're going to all these different things. You know Jerry Buss, you're going to all these parties.
Yeah.
But is that where the drugs come from, or
no,
is the drugs a personal thing?
The drugs were a personal thing. It's a private thing that I hid from everybody. I was using it to cover up. I was using it. Yeah, I wasn't getting high at these parties. I was using it as a tool to cover up my real feelings and emotions of how I was feeling about life and the world and myself. You know, you don't abuse drugs unless you're feeling really terrible about yourself, and you use it as you use everything else around you. Yes, you use everything around you as a reason to continue doing it. But once you come to the end of the road, things change. Once it changes and it's not helping you anymore, you're just addicted to it. That's when you have to make the change to be something different. And you have to find it inside of yourself and the courage not to ever go back again. And that's what I've been able to do for 32 years, not to ever go back to that.
So I think that's really interesting, because I do want to make this distinction between it's a private hell as opposed to when you're at these parties where crazy things are happening. Doesn't mean that you're being crazy.
No, no.
I mean, Jerry Buss, Showtime was a huge thing. It was a real deal here in California or in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And, the Lakers at that point were celebrities as much as anybody else.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Oh, yeah.
And so you would have a backdoor pass to all of this stuff.
Yeah, I would always
go to the games a lot?
Yeah, I went to the game. We go to dinner, have dinner inside the Forum Club, have dinner, and then we go to Jerry's Box. And then after Jerry's Box, we go back to Jerry's house with all the girls. And then if that wasn't kicking, we go over to Playboy Mansion with Jerry.
Todd?
Hey, I had a fun in my life.
How many Laker girls did you go through?
Dude, it's not just Laker girls. It's Playmates too. It was nuts. It was nuts, dude. I had a great,
I made a joke on your podcast. It's like I was on Little House on the Prairie. Girls wanted to hold my hand. It was not that experience.
Yeah, I had the greatest experience. I'm not gonna lie, and that's why I can't sit there and say I didn't have a great time because I did. I lived the ultimate of a life, but I thank God that I'm still alive and I didn't die. I didn't get no diseases. I didn't die. I'm still alive to be able, because I know that God has a purpose for me in my life to do things that I'm doing, and like I can't wait till I get to tell my story in a feature film. It needs to be told. It needs to be told.
Well, I have a note here that you played your own drug dealer in a movie.
Yeah.
What the hell? After
NBC.
Diff'rent Strokes, when the laughter stopped,
Yes.
you're in a movie that's telling your story.
Yes, and I played a drug dealer selling myself drugs.
That's got to be the most meta. How did that
great.
happen? What was that about?
I sit there like looking for the drug dealer because I knew about it. They paid us, and I'm like, I could just play the drug dealer. I know what was said and how it goes down, man. They're like, all right, you can play it then, and I played it. Yeah,
and you're playing a guy playing you.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so let's get to this one story. So I told this story. I'm doing these TikTok stories, right?
Yep.
And look, everyone's got stories in their life, but I have to go through and go, okay, well, what's kind of interesting of this one? And one night I came home and I'm like, okay, well, I got to do one. There's that. I'll tell this story. And it blows up. It was the big Jason Bateman story. And it goes really viral for all the reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
And people were like, everyone has an opinion for sure. So tell me, what was your remembrance? Obviously, he was on Silver Spoons and then It's Your Move. And I think they shot right next to you guys.
Yeah, you're right next door to us. Yeah, right next door to us.
Let's start off first with what's your relationship with Bateman? How do you know him? And
I know Bateman since a kid, being a child from his sister. From his sister on Family Ties. That's how I know Bateman. That's how I know him. Jason.
Okay.
Was from his sister, Justine Bateman.
Right.
And he was always a lot smaller, So he didn't quite, because see, I had the reputation of you don't mess with him because he's going to get you if you mess with him. Because Ricky and Alfonso used to always like throw pee at me and stuff like that. They do crazy stuff, dude. Fill water balloons full of pee. And so I would always take them and, tear them up, and then they would run to their bodyguard, and have him protect them. I'm like, your bodyguard gonna be there forever. I'm gonna get you later, and I'll always get him later. They'd set my car alarm off. So when Justin Bateman was on the show, that's how I knew he was there, and I've known him for years from his sister. So, but he had some snide comments. Justin, he's always had when he was little. Yeah, he had snide little comments, and I was closer to you than I was to him. So when you were there that day, I remember, you were saying, and I was like, okay, let's go get him then. Because I'm there to back you up. You're my buddy. I'm like,
you were absolutely my buddy. Ride or die.
Let's go get him, man. Yeah. I don't mind it, man. What are you gonna do to me? Nothing. Because he couldn't do nothing to me, you know what I mean? So, that was great, man.
He was so funny because but it's like a lot of comments are like, They went and did research, and they're like, Todd and Patrick were like 4 years older than Jason. This seems like they were the bullies. And it's like, unless you were around Jason, he could be really, really mean.
Yeah,
and he was.
He could say very snide comments to you. Like, he would cut you low. You know what I mean? And people don't understand is you're not a fighter, really. You're the kind of guy that just wants to be nice and have a good time. And that was the problem. He started picking on you, and he could be very mean and cutthroat. He could be. But to me,
thanks for the backup. Yeah, it's like, well, you were the biggest one out of all of us.
Yeah.
Alfonso Ribeiro, who was on the show, he was always like smaller. He's big now, but he was like always tiny. Same with Rick. And it was just sort of like, it was a weird world back then where, again, we all knew each other, but we were all like professional.
Oh, yeah.
We were at work.
Yeah.
But we're kids.
Yep.
So Todd and I threw him into the garbage can.
Oh,
and he was younger than us, but he was a really mean person.
Yep.
Hopefully
and the thing
he's
about
different now.
Yeah. Well, because I did the live Diff'rent Strokes with him. He was there. We talked for a bit. He's all right, but everyone's still with me with my reputation. They're like, shh, be nice to that guy. He's a little bit crazy sometimes if you mess with him. So he was good with me, but who I was really impressed with, I got to meet Dwayne Wade on that set, on that live Diff'rent Strokes thing. And he said something to me that I've never heard from a black person in my entire life. And Dwayne said to me, he said, hey, man, I just want to tell you thank you for what you leading the charge in the television for black kids. He goes, thank you, man. And he hugged me.
Wow.
oh my gosh. It's like, wow, I'd never heard that before.
I would think that's all you would hear, though.
No,
I mean,
man.
because that was the show.
I never heard that until Dwayne Wade said that to me, man.
We'll be back after these messages. Hey there, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I've been an actor since I was a little kid. So I know what it's like to be a little kid actor. So I have a class here called Youth Weekly, and that meets every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and it is an awesome class if you are young and want to learn all about acting. We have a great set of kids, and it's taught on Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, on an iPad. It's awesome. I've had kids take a class while they were in the car coming back from soccer practice. I swear to you. So if acting is in your blood, come to workingactorschool.com and check out the Youth Weekly class every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you there. Act 3, present day. We've talked a lot about all the trappings of celebrity and fame and everything. What was your life like on Diff'rent Strokes as a working person? How did you? I mean, was it an easy set? Sometimes difficult.
It was an easy set because usually Conrad Bain made it easy. He was the father. Played Phil Drummond. He made it easy. He made sure things were, because the first season we had a director that didn't like me and Dana, didn't like us. He liked
Is that
Gary,
Assad,
but
or is that another guy?
No, his name was Herbert Kinmuth.
Okay.
Did not like me or Dana. He yelled at us all the time. Didn't yell at Gary, but he yelled at me and Dana. And Conrad saw it one time and he goes, that's enough. And he goes, tell him to stop. And then he goes, Conrad took all of our parents to the network and says, if this guy's not gone next season, we're not coming back.
Wow.
And they got rid of him. And then they said, well, we got to find a director. So that's when we went out and we found Garen Keith.
Uh-huh.
He was our director the whole time. We never switched after that. We only had Garen Keith. Everybody else had different directors, not us. We had Garen Keith, and that was it.
I have a real big preference when I do 3-camera. What was your tape night?
Friday nights.
That's my favorite.
I didn't like this. Facts of Life did Tuesdays. I didn't like Tuesdays.
It breaks your rhythm.
Yes, that's what I thought. You would come off of like a the weekend, and then you tape. I didn't like that. I liked better having the weekend to do what I wanted to do, not have to any lines, and then start on Monday.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Because I would fool with the script. By Thursday and Friday, I knew my lines, but Monday and Tuesday, I was all over the place. But I was just, because I didn't really care.
Well, they change. I mean, by Tuesday, it's a different script anyway.
It changes so much. Yeah, it changes so much. So I was like, I gotta learn this. I'll tell you what, the hardest set I ever did was, I did for 2 years, I think it was, I did Young and the Restless. That was difficult. They changed stuff.
Why? Because
they changed stuff every second. And
there's a massive amount of dialogue in the scene.
Yes, and it's really difficult to learn stuff that fast. And then finally, what's his name? Christoph St. John got me on the show.
Okay.
And
Christoph, again, another kid actor.
Yeah, another kid actor. We've been around each other forever.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Christoph at the
he was in Bad News Bears. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I get on the show, and he's like, Todd, you don't have to learn it all. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, let me show you. We go around the set. He's showing me his dialogue in drawers, on walls. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean? He goes, dude, the camera's not on you. This is one camera. This is not the multi-camera you're used to. He goes, when the camera's on somebody else, you be looking at your dialogue. And you listen to what the line is, and you, bam, ba 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 ba. Camera goes off you. Walk over here. He goes, you walk over there. So I learned from him how to do a soap opera.
That's awesome. I haven't seen him in a long time.
He passed away.
I just want to.
Christoph passed
really?
Away. Yes.
That dude was jacked.
Passed away. He passed away.
Oh man, we're losing so many people.
Yeah.
I remember hanging out with you. I just want to bring this up. I don't remember you and I, my brother. I think James, Marcus. Wyatt at the time. Marcus, what's his name? Is it Wyatt Chong?
It's Chung. No, he changed it.
Okay. And I think Stoney Jackson, we ran into him in Westwood, right? We were all hanging out in Westwood, which was a thing. And it was just we had a really good time going to Westwood.
yeah.
But it was weird because it was you, my brother, who were both obviously famous, me, who's like semi-famous. Marcus wasn't famous yet. Stoney was famous. And just like watching the people watch, like you'd walk around and we're just doing regular stuff, eating falafel or going to a movie.
Exactly.
And people were like nuts for you guys.
Yeah.
Was it like that for you everywhere you went?
It was back then, yeah, because back then there was a thing called Teen Idols, and we were Teen Idols. They don't do that. They don't have Teen Idols anymore. Now they have celebrities, but you're not a Teen Idol anymore.
Well, I guess if you're in a singing group or if you're K-pop or something like that.
Yeah, I guess K-pop, but I don't. Yeah, but it's still not the same because they have so much more access to you. You know, by your
absolutely, Instagram influencers.
Instagram,
I guess they'd be influencers. Yeah.
But see, if we had like think about if we had Instagram and Facebook back then. Oh my goodness.
Well, you would have no fluids in your body. You would just be a husk.
Yeah, it would have been a different ballgame.
Okay, so you obviously had this rough period of addiction and with the law and everything. So that you go look it up if you want to know about it. Yeah. You told us about your way back, but you told me this story that you got to tell about when Eddie Murphy decided to help you out.
Okay,
got to tell this story.
So I've known Eddie Murphy for a while too, right? And Eddie was like, "Man, we got to get Todd some help, man. He tripping." You know, so he's like, okay, we got to find somebody who knows about drugs. And they're like, everybody's like, naming Rick James, send him a Rick James over there. So they send Rick James to my house. Now, if any of you guys know anything about Rick James was getting higher than I was at the time. So Rick comes to my house, you know, he opens his car door up and all this smoke comes out. You know, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what you need? He's like, hey, brother, I want to talk to you. I'm like, oh, okay. Go step in the house.
So sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Did you know Rick at this point? Or
Yeah,
was it
I knew Rick. I knew Rick from different places, you know, different clubs and stuff. But when Rick spoke, you listened. You know what I mean? Rick was loud. So when Rick spoke, you listened. I'm like, okay, come on in. And he goes, let me see your stuff. And I didn't know what Rick was saying. I'm like, what do you mean my stuff? He goes, your stuff. I'm like, Rick, what are you talking about? He goes, your drugs, man. I go, oh. And I'm like, why am I? He goes, let me see it. I'm like, all right. So I showed him. He goes, man, that's too. I don't want you killing yourself. That's too much. Let me take a half of that. Take it from you, kill yourself. And then he started talking to the girl on my couch, and she went with him. And I'm like, this is, you know, I'm ready to kill Rick at this point. So Rick leaves, and I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, what? You know, what's going on? What kind of drug intervention was that? He took half my drugs and left.
I can't get over the fact that it's Eddie Murphy decides to help you with an intervention, sends Rick James, which I don't. But Eddie didn't know. Logic there.
Eddie didn't know. No one knew that Rick was getting high either, really. But I did.
Are you kidding me? He's a super freak.
But they know that he smoked weed, but they thought that's all it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're after Diff'rent Strokes and after all of this fame, you have all of these other life crises that you find your way out of. And then you end up on Everybody Hates Chris, which is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was such a good show.
Yeah.
What was your experience with that?
At the time before I got on that show, I was doing a show called World's Dumbest. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was where we comment. It was with me. It was like we comment on videos. It was like after those home funny videos, except for they had comedians. Me,
like a VH1 type of thing.
No, yeah, but it wasn't on VH1, but yes, like a VH1.
Okay, got it. So like talking head over videos.
Yeah, it was on True TV. And I was doing that, and then I got an audition for Everybody Hates Chris. And when I went on the audition for Everybody Hates Chris, it was a black casting director. I won't mention who she was, and she basically didn't really want me to get the part. She didn't. But let me tell you how it all worked out. How I can tell you how God worked it all out. So,
wait, why would she not want you on the show?
She didn't. I've had that problem with some casting directors before, and this person was one.
What's the bias though? Like the trouble with the law, or
I don't know.
Willis,
I don't know. I have no idea. So I go and I audition for it, and she was like, "Yeah, well, they're looking for a different type, but thank you." I go, "Okay." So I leave. You know, all of a sudden I get a call a month later, and they're like, "Hey, no, they want you for this role." And my agent, I made a deal. I said, well, you got to work around World's Dumbest. I said, I'm doing that show 3 days a week. You know, just pick, tell me what day you work it. I can work around it. I can just, if I'm shooting on this day, I can shoot later. And they go, okay, no problem. So they ended up working around it. Then I talked to Ali Leroy about this show, and he goes, man, let me tell you how this works. He goes, I know God
Ali
inspired
Leroy
this-
was the executive, the
executive producer
showrunner on
with
yeah,
Chris Rock. Yeah.
yeah, with Everybody Hates Chris.
So he says, I never look at tapes in my entire life. He goes, I never do. He goes, something told me to put the tape in and look at it. And I put the tape in. He goes, I see your face, and I just stop and I go, calls up the guy and said, hey, did you offer this person the role? No. She goes, why not? Of course he could do this role. You know that, right? Yes. Give him the job. So I ended up getting the job, and my first day, I hadn't worked on a sitcom in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is, and especially considered.
But
a
it's a
black
one
sitcom.
camera. But it's
Yeah,
also
one
not a
camera.
live audience.
Yeah,
it's a one camera sitcom. Yeah.
Sitcom. But I still haven't worked on one in years. So I get to the set. You know, I always get there early. That's my thing. I get there early, and they go, "Oh, you got some new dialogue." I'm thinking 1 or 2 lines, maybe.
Yeah.
Ollie changed everything, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I call my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, I don't know what to do." Mommy, here I am in my 40s. Mom, I don't know what to do. My mom's like, "Boy, if you don't put this phone down and start learning your lines, you get it. Don't worry, you'll be good at it. Don't worry about it." Blah, blah, blah. She pet me up and said, "All right," hung up. So I ended up doing a great job. So good that they come to me before I left and they go, "Would you like to be a recurring regular on this show?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
You after today, your performance today, man, had everybody laughing, man. So I owe homage to Chris Rock for allowing me to do that show, for Ali Leroy, because I had never been hired. Listen to how crazy this is. I had never been hired from these black people like this from the show. I've never been on a black show in my life. That was the first time I was on a black show. I wasn't on the Parkers. I never was on Martin Lawrence. None of them shows I was ever on. None of them shows.
Oh my gosh! And you never? That's so weird.
That's not weird to me. I won't get into the reasons why, but that ain't weird to me. But I get it. You know what I mean? But I was, my thing is, I'm super talented enough that I should have been on everything. I can hold my own, and that's what Ali Leroy knew. He knew I can hold my own. He was like, "Oh man, yeah, man." I actually did stand up for 15 years.
That's
but
hard. I never did that.
Not in Los
Angeles.
It's
a mean business. It's a really difficult.
It's a mean business, but you just gotta, you gotta make people laugh, and it's not that difficult. I talk about everything I've gone through. That's all I do, and people be cracking up.
Well, and like we've discovered here, I mean, your personality
Yeah.
is like, it's never really different than when we were little kids.
Yeah,
But it's just like you're able to, see the joy in life, which is beautiful, man.
I can express crazy situations and make them funny. Is what I do. So
I'm a big Sandler fan, and you end up in That's My Boy. So how did that happen? Because obviously you'd fought Vanilla Ice, you kicked his ass, and then you end up playing scenes with him.
I'll tell you. Okay, Adam Sandler happened to be on Paramount Lot at the time. Okay, and I'm doing.
And that's where they did Everybody Loves Chris.
Yeah,
but
and
Chris.
I go, Adam, how come I never worked with you? He goes, "Todd, I'm gonna get you in the movie." I'm like, "All right." I'm thinking to myself when I left, "Yeah, right." Everybody, and then I ended up in that movie. So how crazy is that? He really did what he said he was gonna do. He did it. Now in our business,
I hear he's a pretty good guy. He's a pretty good guy.
Great guy. Because we would play basketball, and then we go do a scene, and then we watch.
How is he compared to Prince?
He was great. He's different than Prince, but he was great.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler was a really nice guy. I had a great time on that set, and got paid some really good money to do that, which was great. I got paid some really good money to do it too, which was great.
Money is good. We like money. We'll be back after these messages. Hey, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I know what it's like if you are in a class with people, and sometimes you just want to have that one-on-one connection with the person that you're working with to go over, I don't know, a particular scene, or maybe you have an audition, or maybe you just want the privacy to try stuff that you don't really know is going to work and not have anyone look at you. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. It's called One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can book your time at workingactorsschool.com, and it's just me and you for an hour going over whatever it is you want to work on, breaking down the script, talking about character, figuring out your intention, the spine of the scene, everything that goes in to making a dynamite performance. So if you're interested in acting and want that one-on-one personal attention, check out One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can find all the information you need at workingactorsschool.com. Act 4. questions. Okay, so we're into the questions. These are questions that my wife came up with, Tina.
Okay.
So it's called Tina's Gotta Know.
Gotcha.
And the first question is, that's showbiz. What would you say is the most Hollywood moment of your life?
The most Hollywood moment in my life. Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question. Like, that
Sounds like you've had a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, I would probably say it was being on the couch, being on at that house, those dates, and being with all these major sports singers, actors, dating 6 different girls. That's probably the biggest Hollywood. Like, yep.
That's a
This
pretty
is
good
Hollywood.
one. Or
Yeah.
it's Sammy
Yeah.
Davis Jr.'s house
Yeah,
talking
Sammy
to
Davis
Frank
Jr.'s
Sinatra.
house.
That's
Talking
a
to Frank
pretty good
Sinatra.
one, too.
Yeah, that's a pretty Hollywood moment. You're right about that. It is.
Okay, number 2, that's showbiz part 2. What's the most embarrassing Hollywood moment in your life?
I think the most embarrassing Hollywood moment is everyone knew that I got arrested. That was very embarrassing. That was the most embarrassing
I
ever.
can't really argue with that one.
And then you want to know what I stupidly did too? Coming out of jail, they go, Mr. Bridges, what are you going to do next? And I go, I'm going to Disneyland. Dude, I got in the car, my mom was pow, 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 pow. My mom hit me like 10 times in the head. What's wrong with you, fool? Okay, good.
Okay, number 3, show me the money. What is your biggest missed financial opportunity? In this town, we get lots of opportunities because a lot of people cross.
Investing in Microsoft. And
how did that go about? It's just you had the opportunity at the time, and you just
my people
didn't see it?
think it was a good idea, but it was a great idea. I should have.
Yeah.
If I would have invested $100,000 in Microsoft, I'd be worth $900 million. But also, I could be dead. I could be dead.
How is Microsoft
Because at the time I was going through my drug addiction, I didn't need that much money.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so the
So
finances
I always
actually
say,
slowed your roll.
I always say God knows what He's doing. Is what I always say.
Okay, yeah, I mean, for sure. Number 4, show and tell. As a teenager, what's your favorite poster in your room, and how did you get it?
I would say my favorite poster probably would have been Pam Grier, and Pam Grier signed it.
Oh, what was that interaction like with Pam?
Great. Come on, Pam was fine, man. We were all like, Pam Grier.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah,
or
still
was.
is gorgeous.
I don't,
So
yeah.
it was, I think she's still around. Yeah, so that's probably my poster I had in my room, and she signed it, so right by her boobs, which was great. for a 16-year-old kid, he's like, yeah, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Foxy Brown is Foxy.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5, showdown. Okay, professionally, as an actor, what's the best thing you've ever done and the worst thing you've ever done?
I would say
Thing you're most proud of, thing you're least proud of, I guess.
I have a lot that I'm very proud of. I would say I'm most proud of probably Little House, probably.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I stuck that role really hard. And it actually, when people see it today, people still cry on that. So I really shot that. Really did a great job on that. I think my worst, let's see. Some of these low budget movies I've done, but it's for the money sometimes. Like, that ain't the greatest movie. But, somebody said to Will Smith, Wild Wild West, why'd you do that? And he goes, $20 million? Why? Reasons why. And my thing is, why'd you do that lousy movie? 100,000 made me do it. That's
Well, if you look at your IMDb, there's not a year that you don't work.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you're not a guy that disappeared. It's just that it's not. Look, NBC in the 70s and 80s, when your least, the lowest rated episode, 25 to 30 million people are watching.
Yep.
And that audience isn't around anymore. You just don't have that anywhere. All right, so here we go. Let's see here. Number 6, no show. What part did you want but didn't get?
That's interesting. What part did I want but didn't get? I would say that had to be recently. I auditioned for The Rookie. And I really wanted that part. It was about a guy who lived in a building, homeless guy lived in a building. And then when I saw the role, they went white and a lot older. The problem is I don't photograph a lot older than I am. Like the guy they hired was.
You don't look.
Guy,
I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't got gray hair.
Yeah, I
mean,
do on my chin. The guy they hired, was a white guy. He was 60 and he looked, 60. And that was my
Right.
problem. I didn't get it because of that, but I really wanted that job because I really wanted to be. One of my favorite shows is The Rookie, and I wanted to be on that show. So I really wanted that job more than anything.
Right. All right. So number 7, what movie? Number 7 is favorite show. What movie has most influenced you, or TV show?
Scarface.
What's Scarface? Why? What's the thing about Scarface that you take away?
Because when the whole drug scene,
Okay.
I crashed and burned just like it was if I didn't get killed by a shotgun. And that was one of our favorite movies. We used to come, we played that movie in our house. And I had like 3 different, my brother lived there and some other guys lived there. We had roommates. And someone was always watching it, a VCR tape. And everyone would come eventually sit down and be like, and start watching the movie till the end. Everybody always watches it.
It is one of those movies between whether it's the disco scene or whether it's the siege scene or whether it's the one in the work camps where there's always a good piece of that.
And the crazy part about it was they weren't giving out Academy Awards for roles like that.
No, that was like considered like A-level trash.
Yeah,
it was just sort of like a genre film.
He deserved an Academy Award for that role he played in that movie. You can't do no better than that.
Body so
Al
fucking
Pacino.
Chukani, baby.
Exactly. That's like he deserved it and didn't get it for that, but he definitely deserved an Oscar for that. But that's one of the movies recognized, and that movie changed my life.
So this may be the same answer then. Show me again. What is the movie you rewatch the most?
Right now, well then,
or
no,
like if you want to throw something in, what do you rewatch?
I would say the movie I probably rewatched the most is probably Buckaroo Banzai.
No way! I love Buckaroo Banzai.
That's one of my
Across
favorite.
The Eighth Dimension.
I got to meet John Lithgow. He played Conrad Bain in the live Diff'rent Strokes, and I was like, dude, my favorite movie, Buckaroo Banzai. He goes, oh, thank you, Todd. He was a great guy. Gave me a hug. I'm like, thank you, man. I love that movie. Come on, man. Mr. Big
If
Booty.
you haven't seen Buckaroo Banzai, it is a batshit crazy movie.
It's
so good.
Yeah.
Laughable you can, the monkey boy.
Yes, I love that movie, man. One of my favorite movies. And I still, to this day, I tried to watch my wife, and she didn't understand it at all. I'm like, you don't get it.
Yeah, you either get it or you don't, and there's no shade if you don't like it because it's very specific. That's a great movie. Final question, number 9.
Okay.
Show me some love. What's your favorite performance of mine, Todd?
Yours? I used to love you and Jag, man. I loved you and
Thanks.
Jag. I used to watch you and Jag. I'm like, damn, Patrick, kick him back. Like, that's a good show. I should call him. No, I never called you, but I was like, I should call Patrick. But I loved to watch you in that show, man. You were very, you looked like you were really in the military. Like, you knew what you was doing. That's acting.
We had such great technical advisors.
Did
They
you?
really took care of us. Yeah, we had a guy who literally was on when they evacuated Vietnam. He was one of the guys on the helicopter getting people out of Vietnam.
Gosh.
He was a Marine. He was a full-on, Matt Siglock was the guy's name, and we loved him. And he made everybody look professional. Otherwise, I'm a soup sandwich. As he would call me, he goes, "Oh man, you're a soup sandwich. You got to straighten up. You got to."
Yeah, you had perfect posture in there too all the time. Because they make you do that, right?
Yep, I tried.
Yep.
Epilogue. Okay, man. So we're in the epilogue. This is where you kind of plug away. Tell people what you're doing. I found that you wrote. Did you write a book or was it
I wrote a book.
Okay.
No, I
Killing
wrote a book.
Willis, from Diff'rent
Killing
Strokes
Willis.
to Mean Streets to the life I always wanted.
Yeah. Well, the life I always wanted meant that finding myself again and becoming the person that I was and being happy with wherever I was in life, I was happy with it. Yep. That.
Okay, and then you got. I was on the podcast Dang with your wife Betty Jo Bridges.
My wife Betty Jo Bridges. Yep. And then I stream on Twitch. I'm a Twitch streamer. I play video games on that, and also what else do we have? I have my website where we sell merchandise from Dang and Diff'rent Strokes. What you talking about? Willis shirts and all that kind of stuff. Even baby Willis shirts. I sell all that on there now. I figured out people said it to me enough. I might as well capitalize off it too, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely.
What's your answer when people come up to you and say, "What you talking about, Willis?" Is it
I go, Willis is here. Where's he at? That's what I say to people now. I'm like, where is he? And they're like, yeah. Or they go, are you? And I go, Micah Peterson? Yes. Who are you? And they're like, no. Were you ever on I said, you're on a TV show? And then sometimes I go, I am him. And they're like, no, you're not. And I go, see, I'm not. I got you. Gotta go. Did they ever say that to you?
Yeah,
No, you're not.
It's always the most fun when people recognize you and then don't believe you when you answer
Yes,
the question.
yes. They're like, no, that's not. You can't be. Then it's not. I guess you're right.
Well, dude, thank you for taking your time.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for being
Definitely.
so open and honest and fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't get over how long we've known each other. I'm going through
I
this.
know,
going,
right?
Man, we were little kids when we met.
We were. And it's like,
It's such a life that you've lived since then. Man.
Yeah, I've lived a crazy life, but I also lived the life that led me to where I'm at today, which is being settled with myself. That's the most important thing. Being okay.
God bless
with,
you, man. That's awesome.
Being okay and wherever I'm at, I'm good with everything. That's what I'm trying to teach
Well,
my life. You
thanks
gotta be okay
again.
with what here. Thank you.
No,
Thank you,
man,
Patrick Labyorteaux.
We'll hang out and
I had to tell my
we
wife
gotta
how to
see
say your
each other.
name. She tried to say your name, and I'm like, no, it's Labyorteaux. Trust me, I've said it a million times.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. We'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, man.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast and checking it out. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcast, and it's a video podcast over on YouTube. My socials are all patrick.labyorteaux, and that is on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm everywhere. If you want information on the school, you can go to workingactorsschool.com. We have classes going all the time. It's a lot of fun. I suggest you check it out. Hey, we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.